in me for a story to help you find rest and gentle dreams. Lantana and Susan, the cheerful friendship. This story is about Lantana and her special goldfish Susan, showing how their cheerful friendship brings joy to themselves and others. In a quaint little village surrounded by vibrant meadows and chirping birds, lives a kind-hearted girl named Lantana. Her eyes sparkled like the morning sun on dewy petals, and her smile could light up the gloomiest days. Lantana had a special friend, a lovely goldfish named Susan, who lived in a crystal-clear pond in her garden. The pond was adorned with colorful pebbles and water lilies that swayed gracefully with the gentle breeze. Every morning, Lantana would visit Susan and sprinkle fish flakes over the water, watching her swim with delight. Their bond was unique, filled with silent conversations and shared dreams. One day, as Lantana sat by the pond, she noticed Susan seemed sad. Her usual lively movements had dulled. Worried, Lantana decided to cheer her up. With a small wooden flute, an instrument she had been learning to play, Lantana knelt by the pond and began to play a cheerful melody. Her notes floated through the air, mingling with the rustling leaves and the soft whispers of the wind. Susan's spirits lifted instantly. She trilled and danced in the water, making tiny splashes that glistened like diamonds under the sun. Lantana giggled with joy, her heart swelling with happiness at the sight of her friend's revived cheerfulness. It became their daily ritual, where Lantana would play music and Susan would dance. Their little performances brought smiles, not only to them but also to anyone who happened to pass by the garden. The bond between Lantana and Susan taught the village that cheer and happiness could be found in the simplest of moments and the purest of friendships. And so, their story spread, inspiring many to cherish and nurture the bonds they had with their own friends. The next story awaits, ready to ease your mind. Esther and Tansy's Sanctuary. This story is about the bond between a curious boy, Esther, and a gentle giant, Tansy, and their creation of a sanctuary in a magical forest. In a small village surrounded by lush forests, there lived a young boy named Esther. Esther was known for his curious nature and his deep love for the woods that enveloped his village. Every day after completing his chores, he would venture into the forest, exploring its hidden paths and marveling at the wonders of nature. One sunny afternoon, while wandering deeper into the woods than he had ever gone before, Esther stumbled upon an enormous glade bathed in golden sunlight. In the center of the glade sat a gigantic figure, so large that it seemed to be part of the very earth itself. This was Tansy, the kind-hearted giant who had lived in the forest for centuries, watching over it and its inhabitants with gentle care. The villagers had often spoken of Tansy in hushed tones, sharing tales of his kindness and wisdom, but Esther had never imagined he would one day meet him. With a heart full of wonder and a little trepidation, Esther approached the giant. Tansy turned his gray head slowly and looked down at the small boy standing before him. "Willow," with a one rumbled Tansy in a voice that resonated like the whisper of ancient trees. "What brings you to my glade at my Esther?" Esther, finding his voice, replied, "I was exploring the forest and found this beautiful place. I've heard stories of you, Tansy, but I never thought you were real." Tansy chuckled softly, the sound like distant thunder. "I am as real as the air you breathe and the earth you stand on. This forest is my sanctuary, and I had vowed to protect it always." Esther's eyes shone with admiration. Again, Tansy, a more and gentle sight that made the glade feel even more magical. "You may, Esther. This forest can be your sanctuary too." From that day on, Esther and Tansy formed an unbreakable bond. Aster would visit the giant frequently, listening to histories of the past and learning about the delicate balance of nature. He learned how to care for the forest and its creatures, understanding the importance of harmony and respect. Under Tansy's guidance, Aster grew not only in knowledge, but in kindness and responsibility. He shared his newfound wisdom with the villagers, teaching them how to live in harmony with the forest. The village thrived, becoming the haven of peace and psychopathy. Years passed, and Aster grew into a wise and beloved leader. He continued to visit Tansy, cherishing their friendship and the sanctuary they had built together. Even on the darkest days, knowing that Tansy was there, watching over them, brought comfort to Aster and his people. The forest remained a place of wonder and safety, a testament to the enduring bond between a curious boy and a kind-hearted giant. And so, the legacy of Aster and Tansy's sanctuary lived on, a beacon of hope and harmony for generations to come. Let's explore the next chapter of tonight's tales. Bellflower and Campanulla's Wholesome Adventure. This story is about a heartwarming adventure shared by Bellflower and Campanula that deepens their bond through the beauty and wonders of nature. Bellflower was a gentle human who lived in a quaint cottage nestled in a meadow filled with wildflowers. Campanula, an adventurous child with sparkling eyes and a heart full of curiosity, often visited Bellflower to listen to her enchanting stories of far-off lands. One day, Bellflower and Campanula decided to go on an adventure of their own. They set out at dawn, the sky painted in shades of pink and gold. The meadows sparkled with dew, and the air was fresh with the scent of blooming flowers. As they walked, they shared stories and laughter, their bond growing stronger with each step. They came across a serene brook where they rested, Bellflower knitting a scarf with soft blue yarn while Campanula played with pebbles, imagining they were tiny worlds in her hands. As the sun climbed higher, they ventured into an ancient forest. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves whispering secrets in the wind. They marveled at the beauty of nature, the harmony of the forest creatures, and the symphony of rustling leaves and chirping birds. During their journey, they found a hidden glade where a family of deer grazed peacefully. Bellflower and Campanula sat quietly, their hearts filled with a deep sense of serenity as they watched the graceful animals. By evening, they had reached the top of a hill overlooking the meadow. They sat side by side, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple. Bellflower told Campanula that such moments were the essence of life, the simple joys that made everything worthwhile. As they made their way back to the cottage, under a blanket of twinkling stars, they sang songs and made wishes upon the shooting stars. Campanula held Bellflower's hand tightly, feeling safe and loved. The adventure had brought them even closer, and with hearts overflowing with gratitude, they knew they would cherish this day forever. At night, back in the cozy cottage, Bellflower tucked Campanula into bed and kissed her forehead, whispering, "Good night, my dear. Remember, the world is full of wonders, and we have many more adventures ahead of us." And with a heart full of wonder, Campanula drifted off to sleep, dreaming of the magical adventures that awaited her. Now, let's settle in for another gentle story. Dan and Jasmine's Magical Dreamscape. This story is about Dan, a kind-hearted young man, and mischievous pixie Jasmine, who embarks on a journey through a magical dreamscape to fulfill Dan's dreams. In a quaint village nestled between lush hills and sparkling streams, lives a kind-hearted young man named Dan. Every night, Dan would stare at the stars, dreaming of adventures in far-off lands. One magical evening, as he whispered his dreams to the constellations, a twinkling light descended from the sky, transforming into mischievous pixie named Jasmine. "Greetings, Dan. "I heard your dreams and am here to make them come true," said Jasmine with a playful glint in her eye. Together, they saw into the velvety night, guided by the stars' gentle light. They found themselves in an enchanted forest, where trees whispered secrets and flowers glowed like lanterns. Dan marveled at the beauty round him, while Jasmine flitted from branch to branch, giggling. "This is just the beginning," she promised. They ventured further into the woods and arrived at a crystal-clear lake. The water shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow. "This lake can reflect your deepest desires," Dan, Jasmine explained, and gazed into the water and saw visions of himself helping others, bringing joy and light wherever he went. "Your heart is pure," Jasmine said. "Now, let the dream unfold." Suddenly, the scene shifted, and Dan found himself in a bustling city made of dreams. The streets were paved with golden cobblestones, and buildings stretched into the clouds, their windows lit with the glow of a million hopeful dreams. Jasmine led Dan to Dream Master's castle at the heart of the city. "The Dream Master creates dreams for all," she said. Inside the castle, Dan met the Dream Master, an ancient being with a flowing robe and a crown of stars. "Welcome, Dan," the Dream Master said. "We have a dream or so. Will you help me spread dreams?" Without hesitation, Dan agreed. From that day on, he journeyed through the realms of dreams, with Jasmine by his side, bringing hope and magic to all they met. When Dan awoke, he felt the magic of his dreams still coursing through him. He knew that as long as he carried his dreams within him, he could make the world a better place. And each night as he drifted to sleep, he carried with him the promise of new adventures, knowing Jasmine was always near, ready to illuminate the path with her mischievous spark. Let tonight's calmness stay with you. Good night.